Well, a plume of black smoke rose from the Sistine Chapel's chimney in the Vatican City this morning, signaling that no candidate secured the required two-thirds majority to be the next pope. Cardinals have reconvened at the chapel for a second day of voting to elect a new pope. All 133 of them will vote up to 4 times a day until a new pontiff is chosen. Let's take you live now to the Vatican City and to Newzroom Afrika's Linda Mnisi. Linda, good afternoon to you. I believe that we are just minutes away now for another round of voting.
Yes, indeed, Michelle. The Cardinals will be heading back to the Sistine Chapel to begin the second round of voting. And this, of course, after the first round was not successful, meaning they did not reach that two-thirds majority. I'm joined now by Father Phuti Makgabo, who will give us a sense of, where things stand. Father Phuti, thank you so much for your time. 3 ballots cast and really no sign of a new pope.
Indeed. I think I have to clarify the fact that we saw the smoke twice only, but we know there has been 3 ballots. So people may be asking, why did we not see the smoke 3 times? It's because in the morning session, they've got 2 ballots. In the afternoon, they've got 2 ballots. So if the first ballot in the morning is negative, they go immediately to the second vote of the morning without showing the smoke. Then they will show the smoke after the second ballot of the morning, as we have seen it. And the same will happen again this afternoon. When they start voting again now at around 4, if the results are negative, we will not see any smoke. They will go immediately to the second vote of the afternoon, and then the smoke will be shown after the second vote, as we have seen yesterday in the evening. Now, we do not have the results. As I had said before, I, among many people, did not expect the results, at least in the evening yesterday and this morning. I'm among the hopefuls now that at least this evening there is a higher possibility that we may have results, as it has happened also in the past 2 conclaves, where the first vote of the afternoon got us Pope Benedict XVI, and the 5th vote, which is the second vote of the second day of voting, got us Pope Francis. So we're hoping that it will follow the same trend.
Yeah, and I remember vividly standing with you here yesterday and you telling us that, in fact, that we won't get any positive results last night. But of course, there are talks about the fact that as the voting continues, the names sort of narrow down. At this point, because you're so hopeful, one would think that we at least have a direction in terms of who are the front runners. But we wouldn't know. The Cardinals would know.
Most definitely. I mean, with the first voting, we have to take into consideration also the fact that has been mentioned many times that the majority of the cardinals that are there don't know each other quite well. And so that will be another element that contributes to this thing being a little bit more extended. But with the first vote already, the names are beginning to sort themselves out. So as the voting goes along, so there will be certain prominent names. So those who have voted for certain names and they realize that maybe my candidate is not going to make it, it's only common sense that you change your vote and you vote for another one whom you think that is similar to your candidate, but is among the front runners. And so the further we go into the voting, the narrower the list of names is going to be. We might even be standing here being left with only 2 or 3 names that they are going to be voting for now in the afternoon.
And of course, off air, you were having a conversation about, the qualities that the church is looking for. But at the same time, the church could be saying this is what we want, but could the candidates really fit that category? Or the people that are receiving the most votes, could they be receiving? Could they fit that particular criteria that has been set out?
Well, as for us who are outside, our wishes will not be represented by ourselves. Those who are inside, they know what kind of people we are hoping to have, and obviously it's all sorts of people. That people are saying we wish to have this kind of a pope or this another kind of a pope. At the end of the day, they will be the ones who will be voting for the person that they have agreed among themselves. I mean, as I was saying previously, they had meetings, and therefore they would sort of have an agreement as to, given the situation that we are in now as the church, given the situation, the geopolitical, social situations that we are facing, what kind of a leader would we like to have who will be able to bring about unity, not only in the church, but also help to foster kind of peace in the world. So we are hoping that somehow they will come to that kind of understanding and find their proper candidates.
But there could also be some alterations here and there, in terms of really a compromise. This candidate could be receiving the most votes, but not necessarily fitting what the church is necessarily looking for. And I understand you say that this process is led by the Holy Spirit.
Thank you very much. Yes, in that case, actually, that is the answer to the question. We may say, let's go for a compromise, because now the Holy Spirit will supplement. Okay, so we may be finding ourselves with two candidates, and they say, hey, maybe this is not our favorite, but at the end of the day, they are the only two on whom we are going to vote. And so we trust in the Holy Spirit that among the two, the one that is chosen will be supplemented by the virtues of the Holy Spirit to be the one that we were hoping to be. So there are certain things you can't change humanly. We leave them to God.
Yeah. And let's talk about time. I mean, earlier you were making reference to Pope Benedict XVI, talking about 5 ballots, as well as Pope Francis. It only took 2 days. Do you think we're still within... in terms of schedule, really, are we still going according to the conclave schedule? I know, it'll still be 5 ballots at the end of today. It'll still be day 2. But looking at where we were yesterday and how long it took, there's some of the things that happened perhaps that we are not privy of in terms of, like you were indicating earlier, maybe technical glitches. Could they affect what's likely to happen today?
Well, I don't think it will be as it was yesterday. My guess here is that yesterday, since it was the first ballot, and most cardinals have not voted before, my guess is there might have been also that kind of a technical glitch. Maybe, for instance, we have to remember that when they tally the votes, it has to be the same number of votes as our voters. And if they fall short, they vote again. They don't just throw it away and say, well, a vote is missing, so we go on. No, they do vote again. They start from the beginning and vote again. So that might be a possibility of what might have happened, what could have caused a delay yesterday, other than the fact that they may have been in prayers and meditation for longer than they had planned. So the time is not necessarily fixed in stone, so to say. It's not cast in stone. So me as an African would say, more or less time depends on them. They don't depend on time.
Yeah. So, I mean, if a decision is not reached by the end of tomorrow, they are going to have to take a break on Saturday. Would they want that?
Well, I don't think they would want that, but I also don't think that they would want to rush this. But at the end of the day, these are the bishops also. Many of them, they have dioceses that they need to go back to run. So they wouldn't want to extend their stay here. So it is in their favor to see to it that they try to get this done as soon as possible so that they too can go back to being pastors instead of eating pasta here in Rome.
Instead of eating pasta, Michelle, that was said by Father Phuti Makgabo, not me. But Father Phuti Makgabo there giving us perspective and explaining, Michelle, the issue around 2 smokes, but 3 ballots have been casted. So in the next couple of minutes then, the Cardinals will be going into the Sistine Chapel. They'll be voting twice and we'll only be seeing smoke once, and that will wrap up day 2 of voting.
I see, Linda. Thanks very much for that clarity. And of course, we have our eyes on that chimney, as I'm sure the people there at St. Peter's Square do as well. Linda Mnisi, live to us at the Vatican. Thanks very much indeed for that update.